Good day. This is Charles Cook, managing partner of Cook Baxter Immigration. We promised a Facebook Live this morning because our friends at Department of State, this is on the people with the Diversity Lottery 2020, DV2020 winners. First of all, congratulations to all of you on benefiting from the lawsuit that was filed on your behalf, both as plaintiffs and those who are not plaintiffs. And we're going to talk all about that now. You're, of course, welcome to put your comments and questions here on Facebook Live. We will be answering those as we move along this morning. And, of course, this will be posted on our YouTube channel at Cook Baxter Immigration on YouTube, and you'll be able to watch it there live. So last night I went to bed, as I always do at night. And I woke up this morning at 6 a.m. and my inbox is exploding on my email. My DMs are exploding. People are trying to get a hold of me because, as is typical of the U.S. government, they issued their instructions on a critical piece of litigation apparently after 10 o'clock last night. And so I want to talk about that today. And I kind of bent my glasses, so I don't know what's kind of going on there. I'll have to fix those later today. But I want to talk about what has happened here. Because our friends in the Department of State came out with this last night. Now, you'll find the guidance at travel.state.gov under their visa-news website. And here's what they wrote. And I think it's important to go through this step by step to look at the good stuff and to look at the problems. So they start out by saying on September 4th, the district court, and of course in the evening after everybody went home for the weekend, and understand this, the United States was closed from Friday at 5 o'clock until Tuesday morning. So lots of people were reaching out to the embassies, which is good, but the embassies literally, most of them didn't even know about the lawsuit. Clearly, state didn't do anything until late last night. And honestly, I'm going to give them a break because it was the first day back at work, although I think they should have been working over the weekend on this. But I'm not going to fault the consulates. The consulates, are up to their eyeballs with crazy stuff of all kinds of issues. And they're not following U.S. news on any given day. And because they literally follow instructions, they were literally following the instructions so that they don't get in trouble by issuing visas they shouldn't issue. So the consulates, I would assume by the close of business today, all of them throughout the world will have received this update. But more importantly, this is not what's given to the consulates alone. They are probably given some sort of training materials, a PowerPoint, a cable, some instructions to go along with this. Now, some consulates are definitely more proactive than others. There's no doubt about it that some consulates are better than others. So let's talk about that as we go through this. All right. So the department, this is what they were. The department must make good faith efforts to expeditiously process and adjudicate the DV 2020 diversity lottery applications by September 30th, 2020. Well, they're supposed to, let's stop right there. They're supposed to report back to the judge by the 25th how many they've issued, both of the plaintiffs and non-plaintiffs. But the other part of this is clear in that it applies to everybody, all selectees throughout the world. It's not just plaintiffs who will be receiving these visas. So if you have been told by anybody that you need to file another lawsuit to get it, that's not correct. Everybody is protected by this litigation, and everybody's going to benefit from it. Now, there's something you need to know, and maybe you don't realize this. There's only 55,000 people that receive DV visas. They notified more than 80,000 winners. All right? That means some of you are not going to get the visa, even if they issued probably about 40,000 or so that are left. They issued all of them. There's going to be about 30,000 plus people that aren't going to get it. And I apologize. I can't do anything about that. I don't run the lottery. But just understand that you might be disqualified for some reason because something in your paperwork. There might be something about your background that disqualifies you. But even if they issue all 40,000, which is another issue we'll get to in a second, a lot of people aren't going to get it. So this is why you being proactive. Now, keep in mind, me, Phil Cook, Danielle, Greg Siskin, Jeff Joseph, we are not your lawyers. We are the lawyers for this group that filed a lawsuit. We did the lawsuit. On the individual issues at the consulate, you have to do that yourself or hire a lawyer to do that for you. Isn't a lot of time to do much lawyering to get that done. So really, it's going to be on you. You are responsible for getting this done. So I'm going to give you some tips and ideas about how you need to move forward here. But, you know, there's that old saying, the early bird gets the worm. I already received word from somebody, one of the individuals said, oh, it's not fair. A whole bunch of people already called the consulate and got the available appointments at such and such consulate. And now they say don't have appointments for me. You know, nothing I can do about that. All right. You have to be proactive about that. Next sentence. Now, therefore, I love when the government uses a therefore. DV2020 applicants, everyone, not just plaintiffs, may be processed in embassies and consulates where local conditions and post resources allow. Stop there. Now, this much we know from our own internal communication yesterday from state, at least as to the plaintiffs. If there is a country that your country is closed, you can't do it there, then what you have to do is you have to call the consulate and say, hey, or email the consulate, I know you're closed. Pick 3 other consulates that you can get to as alternatives for processing your case. That's what they're asking us to do as plaintiffs, for plaintiffs folks. Pick 3 consulates that you can go to, that you have the physical ability to go to, that could process your case. And I'll give you an example that's a problem because a lot of people have reached out to me from Cuba, probably because I speak Spanish, right? So they say, look, I can't get out of Cuba. Cuba's closed. I can't do anything about that. The judge cannot do anything about Cuba being closed. Guyana, which is where most Cubans would process their DV case, said that they would be willing to process the DV case. They've already put that out there, but you have to get there. You have to physically get there. Now, I don't know what it takes for a Cuban to get out of Cuba, but you need to figure that out. That's nothing the lawyers are going to be able to fix for you. Not the judge is not going to fix that for you. Nothing the State Department is going to fix for you. That's going to be an issue that you have to fix. So if you're in a country that is closed at the consular level, you need to identify another. It doesn't have to be the country you normally go to. It could be another country. Department of State is under orders to accommodate here. So that's sentence number 2. In accordance with the requirements of the Immigration Nationality Act and applicable regulations, applicants must be documentarily qualified. Let's stop there. That means the KCC has said you're documentarily qualified. So if you're still at the Kentucky Consular Center, you should be calling them and emailing them and making sure that your case is documentarily qualified. Now, that said, I am not going to let the bad faith of the State Department dictate their ability to only process cases for 3 weeks. They intentionally stopped documentarily qualifying people. I know that. And we have brought that up to the judge. And we are now, based on, as you read the rest of this here, we're going to ask to go back in front of the judge immediately for a status conference because some of the stuff here is incorrect. They need to pave the way at the KCC and literally drop everything else and do these cases. But I don't think, and I argued to the judge, that he has equitable powers to extend the processing time of DV 2020 beyond September 30th because of the bad faith of the government in intentionally not processing cases. So I get those questions. We're going to deal with those. I have 48 comments already. We're going to get to that. Let's go through this first, okay? I may be able to answer your question as we go through this. So have paid all requisite fees. Now, I'm presuming you paid the fees, all right. Be able to obtain required medical exam by a panel physician and demonstrate visa eligibility. So this is what's unclear, and we'll get this in a second about the medical exam. You might want to contact your panel physicians if you can and get a new medical if it's expiring. Most of them will probably be expired at this point. So you might want to try that. We're asking state, because they're already doing this in other contexts, to consider the medical extended, and we're going to go back in front of the judge for that, but you probably want to be reaching out to the medical doctors to get that exam. And those exams are good for 3 to 6 months. They're supposed to be valid when you enter the country. We'll get to that in a second. DV applicants whose medical exam, applicants are reminded, DV applicants may be issued a visa through the end of the fiscal year on or before September 30th. Maybe issued a visa through the end of it. So they're saying they're limited by September 30th. The judge has not made a decision on that yet. So let's be clear. You're freaking out about not having enough time. I get it. We're there for you. We've made the argument, and we're going to go back in front of the judge on that. So don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive of getting in the line. Applicants are reminded that immigrant visas generally expire the same date as the medical exam, either 3 or 6 months. Okay. Well, you need to get that done then. Okay. Get your medical exam done. And we're going to talk about visa reissuance here in a second. DV applicants whose medical exam has already been conducted but will expire prior to December 30, 2020, may opt to get a new medical exam. All right. I'm going to call the doctor. They may be able to accommodate you. I don't know how things work in your country. I'm not an expert on 100, 205 or 180 countries that are part of the lottery. You'll have to deal with that, all right, at your local level. Next paragraph. Although DV 2020 applicants may be issued an immigrant visa under this court order, Proclamation 1014, which suspends entry for DVs, remains effective until December 31, 2020, and can be extended by the president. Now, what they're warning you is they may issue you a visa, but I'm going to guarantee you that if Donald Trump wins re-election, he is going to extend this. I guarantee it. So you better be praying he doesn't win, because if he extends it, you're not coming, even with the visa. All right? Unless we can get Congress to move on it. But if he's still the president, I'm telling you, don't count on it. This is his goal to end this program. All right? Therefore, unless a DV may reach the recipients of the act, they may be unable to travel to the U.S. prior to the application. Now, this is the next part that's important for Schengen countries. The 5 regional COVID proclamations that suspend entry of immigrants who are physically present in China, they're not part of the lottery, Iran, part of the lottery, Schengen area, the UK, Ireland, or Brazil, within 14 days of entry or still effect, are not subject to the court's order. Well, that's true. We didn't challenge those. So what they take a logical leap, this is incorrect, and we're going to fight them on this. While DV applicants subject to regional COVID proclamation may be interviewed and processed, applicants who have been physically present in the affected area during the preceding 14 days will not be issued an immigrant visa. Now, we don't know what that means. That means they'll interview you now and then 14 days send you the visa? 1, 2, that's not what those proclamations say. Those proclamations don't deny you. It's the same reason now. They can't deny you the issuance of the visa. You just can't come here until you've been out of the Schengen area for 14 days. Okay, so you go to a non-Schengen country for 14 days with your visa in your hand, and then you enter the country from there. That solves the problem. They know that. This is wrong, and we're going to fight them on this. We're likely going to be asking for a status conference today to clarify this. It's legally wrong. They also say you can apply for a national interest exemption. So if you are a national interest exemption, you might want to work on that too. DV 2020 applicants whose visas will expire before December 30th, when the proclamation is expired, will be unable to immigrate on that visa unless they are exempt from the proclamation and cannot be issued a new visa after September 30, 2020. That is legally wrong, and let me show you why that is legally wrong. All right? This is the State Department regulation. This is in what's called the FAM. All right? It says issuance of new or replacement visas. If you are satisfied, this is talking to a consular officer, that the individual is unable to use the immigrant visa during its validity because of reasons beyond your control and for which you're not responsible, then you may issue a replacement visa with the originally allocated visa number within the same fiscal year. Okay, they're interpreting that to mean that they can only reissue within the same fiscal year. I interpret it to mean that allocated number has to be allocated within the fiscal year, and then they can reissue the visa. All right. So we're gonna work with them on that. We're not gonna let them use their regulation to stop you from getting your visa reissued. Okay, so we're going to work on that just so that you know. Next, DV applicants whose visas will expire before December 31 is currently unable to immigrate on the visa unless they're exempt from that. Okay, we talked about that. Reminded that if they are either in the U.S. or held a valid immigrant April 23rd, proclamation doesn't apply to you. We get that. Applicants who held valid DV visas are unable to travel and visas expired may be issued a visa. So if you are waiting to reissue, you need to contact the consulate. All right, you've got to do that now. If they give you the runaround, every hour you get back to them. You send them this. You cut and paste that you can be reissued that visa, and then email my associate Phil P. Cook at immigration.net. If they still refuse to reissue your visa, you've got to let us know, because we need the screenshots of the responses after today. Okay, stuff before today doesn't count. All right, they just got this morning. A lot of them were in the middle of the day. They haven't looked at this yet. By tomorrow, they'll have it. So by tomorrow, if they're rejecting your visa reissuance, email pcook, P-K-U-C-K, at immigration.net so we can get that information. All right. Last paragraph. DV applicants whose cases were previously scheduled for interview appointment, even if canceled at a U.S. consulate, should reach out directly to the embassy. My goodness, that's what we told you to do on Friday night, right? And half of you said they rejected me. I get it. They weren't ready for it. Now, reach out. So if you were interviewed or you were scheduled for an interview, that means you're documentarily qualified. Get that in there. Get that request in there. If a post is unable to process case due to health conditions and resource, you may request a transfer to another post. So if they told you they're full, somebody emailed me just now and said, they said they're full. Okay. Ask them, give them a list of 3 different consulates in 3 other countries that you can get to now that they can transfer your case to. All right, get that done and email pcook, P-K-U-C-K, at immigration.net so we can know you're doing it. We want to track this so we can report back to the judge. By the way, we'll have another Facebook Live on this, another posting on this later in the week when we have a little bit more information. DV applicants can request a transfer by contacting the post directly. Not all transfer requests will be able to be accommodated, but we need to know if they're not. You need to let us know, particularly if you're a plaintiff. But the plaintiffs, I think they're bending over backwards to help. DV applicants who've responded to requests for documents to KCC have been notified their case is not going to qualify, but awaiting an interview may be scheduled at in accordance with post-scheduling capacity. You need to email the KCC and tell them, look, if my post is full, here are 3 other posts. Now, we posted, and they'll probably put up a little bit later today on a link on Twitter and my Facebook page, on our first Facebook page, the list of countries and the number of visas. Now, there's some countries that have thousands of visas to process, okay? There's other countries that don't, that have a few that can process them in a day. Maybe you want to try to get to that country. All right, just a word of advice. And scheduling capacity. The department expects that due to resource constraints, COVID, the country is unable to accommodate all DV applicants. All right, we're going to go back to the judge and say, see, their own intentional, reckless disregard for the rules made them unable to comply, judge. And as a result, you have equitable power to extend it. We've argued that to the judge. We believe he gets it. I don't know whether he's going to do it. All right. You also know that we have a bill pending in Congress to give all the selectees from this year the ability to process the visas up to the 55,000 max. Success of that bill is not going to happen right now. It depends on the election. If the election's in, 53 days, 54 days, something like that, you better pray Americans do the right thing for you here. That's what we're hoping. All right. Let's go back. Let's answer some questions. 95 comments here. I'm going to answer all of them. All right. But if you ask a question later I already answered, then go back and listen. We've got Batoon. Thank you very much. Batuan, very nice to see you. Cheyenne from Nepal. You guys are calling from all over. Sharon. This is my friend Sharon Corleone. How you doing? Spoke to Disney Hospital in the country doing medical. They said first I need to get an appointment letter from the consulate. They have online meetings. So the hospital absolutely need to. So Sharon, you need for the appointment. If you need an appointment letter, email the consulate. Say I'm a DV2020 winner. As you know, the medical folks need a letter. Please give me an appointment letter so I can go get my medical. All right? That's what you got to do. Thank you, Sharon. Walter Rehu, I'm an M1 visa hold active in a school. I'm in Schengen area. It's supposed to start October again. So, Walter, were you in the United States on April 23rd? If you were in the United States on April 23rd, you are not subject to the proclamation. They can give you the visa. All right? So there you go. But hopefully you've already processed everything. Hello, Batuan from Turkey. Hey, I'm not a hero. I'm just a lawyer. Okay, I'm just a lawyer trying to do the right thing for lots of people. Pal from Argentina, no update. Ruhan, I don't know what embassy. If you're talking about a specific embassy, you need to let me know what country. Okay, not again. They just sent this out at 10 o'clock last night. I woke up to it 6 this morning. And it was on the website. We don't know if they sent an email out last night to the consulates or this morning. But this morning is middle of the afternoon in most countries, or the nighttime already in other countries. So give them until Thursday to get all this information. Sudan's got a problem. I mean, it's a problem. All right. That's other issues. Valeria, in Russia, we are afraid of a medical exam because anyone who has pneumonia is from tuberculosis. Blah, 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 blah. I get that. All right. Everybody in Russia's got tuberculosis, it seems. So just don't worry about the 3-month visa. That's okay. That's something else we can deal with. Get the visa issued. Focus on the current, and then let us focus on the next issue after that. All right. Mina, I called the KCC. No instructions yet. I don't know what time you called them, Mina. They should have instructions by noon. All right. So noon Kentucky time. All right. Kentucky time, I think it's Eastern time, but it could be Central time. Depends where in Kentucky. Yeah, probably Eastern time. So noon Eastern time, which is another hour and a half. After that, call them. Give them an appointment. They got to get their morning coffee. They got to get probably some training real quick. So just give them a stuff. Colonel Effort, we're trying, Mohammed. We're trying. Buenos dias, Pamela. ¿Qué tal? ¿Cómo le va? ¿Todo bien? Angelica, good morning. Charles, for the next lot. Okay, this is Europe. Okay, Amitha, your response to the consulate, and we're going to go back to the judge on this, is, look, I intend to leave the Schengen area for 14 days and then enter the U.S. So give me my visa. All right, they can't bar you from the visa issuance for that reason. Well, we'll go along with it. We'll get the judge to go along with that. Help from the Ukraine. Irvin Sluchamanili, I'll give you the information, confirmation. You need to, again, afternoon, contact KCC. All right. Lazy? Well, Johnny, there will be some consulates, okay? But I will tell you, I worked for the State Department for a short while as a young man. I know a lot of consular officers. Generally speaking, they are really, really fine people. They are altruistic. I mean, you don't go into a career like the Foreign Service and not be at least somewhat altruistic. These are not Trump clones. They're not evil people. These are good people. And most of them are going to bend over backwards to get these visas issued. I mean, for example, the email we got from the Guyana consulate before the notice went out saying, yes, we're going to accommodate you. There are consulates that may be a little slower, but I don't think, I would never call them lazy. I think most of them are going to bend over backwards. Sudan, I get that. All I can tell you, Waleed, is you need to go back to the consulate and ask again. I don't think going back to the consulate and saying my child needs to be on government welfare in the United States is going to be helpful. That's not an exception. You just need to go in, say, I won the lottery, issue my visa. I'll deal with coming to America after I get my visa. Okay. Martin Diaz, I just sent an email to the U.S. Embassy. In case of the AP process, we sent the automatic reply. Okay, Martin, give them another day, all right? This word will get out. Elena, do svidaniya. That's all the Russian I got, Elena. I don't have anything more than that. We raised an issue that raises a trick and hurt. If I pass my medical instinct. All right. It's not a trick of the Department of State. It's just the law, all right? Elena, we're simply going to have to probably update a lawsuit for the people that get the visa. Let us come back and look at that issue. But don't not process the visa because of that. We get that that's an issue now. But there are ways around, and Department of State has extended the validity period of visas, and pray the American people do the right thing. Sharon, if he extends the deadline, it will be for everybody. And the class certification, as far as I'm concerned, it's still on hold. And it doesn't mean the judge can't come back and relook at that. So it's going to, as I said, and I've been right the whole time, the class certification we just did that for one group. It's not necessary because the decision helps everybody. We're right about that. If anybody's told you otherwise, they're just legally wrong. Can we leave the 4K, come back in? Yeah, well, actually, I think you may be able to. But 14 days from now is the 23rd. So even if you have to leave afterwards, we're hopefully going to get clarification from the judge about that this week. All right. I think that's legally wrong. Meter Alicia, DV2020, blah, blah, blah. So currently, the case, called the case and the guidelines. All right. They should have it. They should have it by noon. All right. They should have it by noon. Martin, I don't know, Martin. Well, don't ask me what kind of do I don't, there's 10,000 questions here. Mike Finutz, is it possible for the case to process of U.S. in our country and put us on AP until the 25th? I don't see them doing that. I mean, that would be bad faith, Mike, bad faith. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on the positive. Get the visa done. Travel bans, well, I agree they're unfair. Let's get rid of Donald Trump and deal with that later. Okay, they'll get it shortly. Bruno, I haven't got confirmation, but I called them today. Cases has been not processed. What can I do? Bruno, if you've sent them everything, call them afternoon. All right, email them. Just stay on top of them. All right, every day. If this is your job for the next 2.5 weeks, pound them, pound them, pound them, pound them. Okay. Schengen area's named plaintiff should do the possibility of the interview. If you are a named plaintiff, call your lawyer, email your lawyer. Okay, and we'll deal with that. All right. I want to talk about this yesterday. Knew that because they're asked to be outside the Schengen. Okay, Anna. It's a victory. They're wrong. We will deal with that, Anna. All right. So call your lawyer, whether it was Curtis or us or Gomez, whoever your lawyer was, or email us so we know your 3 consulates. We'll get that updated, and you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. All right. You're going to be able to use the 14 days after you get the visa. It's a lot of my clients have done the same thing. Elena, okay, you already posted that once. I'm a DV2020 chance to extend a few months. Well, no, right now, Pema, that's not happening, but we've asked the judge for that. And so again, we're working on that. Mad today. Can I remember nothing but reach? Yeah, well, Sergey, they're wrong about that. We'll win that. All right. Sri Lanka does not have any border restrictions. That means like enter. Yeah, you just hop on an airplane. Hop in, come on in, unless Trump wins, and then he's going to extend it. So pray Americans don't do a stupid thing twice. I'm sorry, we're living in Chile. We have not received our OK document. Okay, Rafael, tú tienes que llamar a KCC. Tienes que mandar un email. Ahorita, Rafael. You need to call them, email them right now. You might want to also email the consulate and say, hey, my stuff's stuck at the KCC. Can you help me? I mean, there's only a few handful in Chile. They may be able to help you there. Schengen area, I already talked about that. Anger, the lawsuit is 3.0. Case only got confirmation on the review. Look, I'm not commenting on lawsuit 3.0. I've already said that I don't believe it's necessary. Okay? You want to spend your money doing that, it's entirely up to you. We're not filing another lawsuit and getting the judge upset at people since we already won and getting these cases processed. Simply, I don't know what the rationale behind it. I don't understand it. Doesn't make any sense. Hi, Adama. Need your help, winner from Johnny. You need your help. You need your help, Wyatt. You need to call the consulate. You need to call the KCC. That's what you have to do. That's your part of this. Able to get Turkey, UA, great. Then awesome, Sergey, do it. Schengen and Planish, the possibility of interview. All right, well, I already answered this question. Embassy in Kosovo is ready for interview, but case not forwarding documents. All right, I agree, Vladet. Email the KCC. All right, they're gonna be popping today, I think. Embassy has an emergency precedent. Why don't they process it? Luban, that's a good question. I think we'll, email me a part. Oh, my classes are driving me crazy. Email me at ckuck@immigration.net, and we will ask the judge about that. All right. Yes, the judge can extend. I think he can. Let's see. Elena, let me share some thoughts and fears. Okay. You already did that one. Anna, we already answered that. People, you don't have to send me the choice. I'll get through everything. Need next lawsuit, we open normally. 2021, this case is not about 2021. It's not. But what's clear is that if Trump is reelected, 2021 is meaningless. All right? So 2021 depends on Trump's reelection. Still bad. I agree, Sergey. All right. Some people are saying it doesn't cover APs, even if they are plaintiff, but that seems great. Of course, it's crazy. If you're in administrative processing, you need to be pushing the consulate and calling a lawyer to help you process that. Lawyers can certainly help with that. Travel 14 days. Well, that's a great question, Mihail. That you'll have 3 months to figure that out. All right. In the next 3 months, find a 2-week period in which you can travel to a third country so you can come in. All right. Need next lawsuit be open normally. You're going to pull your kids out of school anyway, right? Well, you take a weekend vacation before and then leave from there. Right? You're going to be in school in the United States. They'll be fine. They'll get caught up. Again, I don't think you need another lawsuit. Same reply if you have a SIMB. Oh, they're probably aware now. Email tomorrow morning your time, and they'll be aware. You already asked that. Angers. They'll respond. Applying still refuse the interview. Give them till tomorrow. Confirmation letter from the KCC. Well, if you don't have a confirmation, there are clearly people who were selected, just like there is in any year, that are not going to process. At least, as I said, at least 40% of those selected are not going to be able to process. We know that just from the sheer numbers. All I can do is tell you, you have to be pushing it. I mean, it's all about you. Talked about Schengen. Any chances? Already talked about that. Dimitri. Okay. Call them. They told me another problem dealing with the documents. I don't know what that means, Dimitri, but you need to call them again. You need to get on top of them again. You need to fight for yourself. In relation to administrative process in Italy, no, they can issue the visa. Their decision to not issue the visa because you're Schengen is garbage. We're going to deal with that. Sergey, man, you got some serious negative vibes going on. You need to be positive about this, all right? Ashim already talked about 2021. Kalish, who are you? Jean Valjean. I'm Jean Valjean. No, I'm Charles Cook. That's who I am. Yeah, that's a good question. Who am I? Just so you know, it's Charles Cook. This is me, one of the lawyers that handled the case. So just understand we're out there trying to help everybody out. Carolina, Venezuela, leaving the UAE, and probably the only South you probably are. You need to call the KCC now at noon. So another hour and a half, and get them to process your case. Anna Sophia, already. Well, you just keep hitting copy and paste, Anna. President, if Trump is reelected, he will extend it. And DV 2020, we will all lose. Okay? Yes, that is a consequence of elections. Trust me, I'm doing my part there too. Ashim, I got nothing there. Pema, any chance to extend the interview in 2020? Again, we've talked about that. Dimitri, okay, so the KCC. Again, I already answered that question. Elena, you're back for the 5th time. Where will you gonna fight them about this? Where are you gonna fight them? Well, we're gonna go back to the judge and say, Judge, they're doing some stuff wrong here, and see if we can get this. If Trump wins, I think we're lost. I mean, frankly, I'm not sure you want to immigrate to America at that point, honestly. Anna's back for her 5th try. All right, Marco, going to fight against Schengen. It's not easy. Say your own country. I know it's not, Marco. It sucks. But if you were going to leave your country anyway to come to America, take a pit stop somewhere else. It sucks. I get it. Rent a van or something. Live in a car for 2 weeks. Do something. But it will let you come to America, then you're going to do it. Any other lawsuit? F-21. Yeah, I keep getting asked about, I was not the lawyer in the Gomez lawsuit. Gomez was the lawsuit on the F-21. They lost. That's family-based, spouses and children, a permanent residence. They lost that case. You better pray Trump loses, is all I can tell you. Speak slowly. I can't speak slowly. I'm from New York. You can slow this down when you tape it. You just play it slowly on our podcast. Especially about the new lawsuit. Do you think this lawsuit might help plaintiffs? No, I don't, which is why we're not part of it and why we're not doing it. I don't understand why they're even doing it. I'm so sorry we are living in Chile, if you already answered that. Wagner, first with your team. Any update on DACA parole? Wagner, come back at 4 o'clock. I'll talk about DACA then. Sharon, it takes minimum 12 days per medical. Okay. All right. Well, you got 21 days. Get going. All right. Get going. Instead of complaining about it, get going. 2021 already talked about. Where I just kind of jumped ahead. Somehow I jumped to the end. All right. Anna's there. How about non-plaintiff? Zeba! Everybody's covered. Everybody's in the pool at this point. Plaintiffs are covered. Which is why we did it for free. We didn't charge anybody because we knew everybody would be covered. If we just had one person and we won, it would cover everybody. We knew that from the very beginning. We don't want donating. We don't need your money, okay? I'm doing fine in life. Life is treating me good. This is a way to pay back. My own grandparents are immigrants. They didn't come from the lottery, but I know lots of lottery winners. So let's just pay it forward, okay? Email to Congress. You can email Congress, Magdalena, but at this point, Congress is useless. 2 months before an election, they're useless. In Ukraine, 19,000 case of visa bulletin mark, related case. Well, Alexander, you better be contacting the KCC. Call the KCC and Moroccan embassy closed. Okay, well, there's people working there, Mohammed. So email them and say, transfer my case. Give them 3 other consulates that you can go to, all right? KCC determines are still not processed. Again, wait till afternoon. We don't actually live in Schengen. Hold a view in Warsaw. Hold a view in Warsaw. I don't know what that means. Sorry. Sushi from Nepal. They got a visa. Couldn't travel. The visa expired. Yeah, look. They're gonna reissue your visa. We're gonna go back to the judge on that. So Sushil, contact the consulate, ask for visa reissuance. All right. If they deny you, email me the denial so we can go back to the judge. If Trump wins and extends it, then it's over. As I said, the lottery's over. Now there is another case, by the way. So not to be too pessimistic, tomorrow there was oral argument in another proclamation case in a different court in the Ninth Circuit, which is much more liberal, which has good case law on this. So if they beat the proclamation back, then we're good. All right. So pray for those lawyers tonight. Does the judge have power to extend to unnamed? Yes, the judge has power to extend it for everybody. Non-plaintiffs already talked about. Judge power to extend already talked about. Sergey already talked about that. Judge has power to already talked about that. High numbers, they lost their hope. Just numbers are irrelevant at this point. Everything and everybody is current. It's now a mad dash. Who can make the calls first? Who can get in first? It's what you wanted. Now you got to get in, okay? The embassy in Mamta, they will have it by tomorrow. All right, asked her that already. Email KCC Georgian Consulate on Sunday. Email them again. They should have information by now. Don't focus on getting your visas. All right, you cannot get your visas done if you live in the UK and DS. We need to move to the country, get our visas there. Mike, the U.S. consulate in London can issue you the DV visa. All right, we're going to fight with the judge to make sure that this statement about the Schengen areas or the travel bans denying visa issuance is overdone, is turned over by the judge. We're going to go back to the judge. So I'm going to tell you, Mike, make a record. Make sure you communicate to me that record with your email. Email me that stuff that's saying they're refusing it at the consular level so I can go to the judge and say, Judge, look at this. They're clearly violating the law. They're not making good faith efforts. They're making stuff up. So, Mike, don't focus on the negative. Focus on what we can do to help you, all right? They would try a Schengen ban for not issuing K1. Different K1. The Schengen ban is garbage. They know it's garbage. They're playing a game here. We'll overcome that, Simone, and we're going to win that K1 litigation, which should be filed, I think, a little bit later this week. Stour to Penn, we did that one, okay. 3 months, visa, we're going to be protected. Again, I talked about that earlier in the broadcast. Settle for Biden. I'm not settling for Biden. I'm voting for Biden. Good man. Let's see. Anger, Sushil. We've got any hope for big case numbers? Everybody's current. So you need to move forward on that. All plaintiffs will get no, all plaintiffs, I believe, will get a visa. Yes, I believe they will get a visa. At least I'm going to fight for them to get their visas. And certainly they're making efforts to get everybody a visa. But understand, when they announced the lottery, they told 30,000 more people that they won that aren't going to get the visa. All right, so it's now a rush. DV2020, we already talked about that. Medical exam, the net, get the visa. We'll worry about the medical exam later. Close. Your embassy looks like they're working. I just called them. The guy said, "Oh, yes, they're interviewing." Great. All right. I don't know what consulate that is, so I can't tell you. Cases didn't. I'm gonna reach out to the consulate. That's what you need to do. Anton, the government attorney, wants to know what top 3 alternative embassies the application there. KCC. I already answered this already earlier back in the consulate. Earlier back in the email, in this Facebook Live. You know, the Israeli embassy, I do not know about individual embassies. You need to go to their website and email them. Thank you. I mean, I'm not a performance. I'm just trying to get this stuff done. Need a new appointment letter. Sharon, I already answered you. Email the consulate. Tell them you need an appointment letter so they can do it. Wow. 150 folks. We got lots of comments today. Even gives you a chance. Yes, if you get the visa and Trump wins, you're not coming in. Yes, unless we overturn the proclamation tomorrow in the other lawsuit. All right. Suggest leave my country, Schengen area, go to embassy. Again, so Sophia, if you're from Italy, which I think you are, that's a really good question. I'm not your lawyer, so I can't advise you specifically about that. But you have 2 options. We're going to go back to the judge and tell the judge that the Department of State is legally wrong in denying visa issuance under the Schengen ban. If you want to go to a third country, you can do that too and ask them to process your case in, I don't know, Albania, Slovakia, wherever it is, a non-Schengen country. You can do that as well. But we're going to try to fight to have it done in Italy and in all the Schengen areas with the judge. New lawsuit. We don't need a new lawsuit. There's no need for a lawsuit. We're going to go back to the judge who still has the case. This is a preliminary injunction. For those of you who don't know American law, it's not final. We're going to go back and say, Judge, this is going on here. So we're going to do it. Sharon, thank you. You'll get information back from them shortly. Schengen ban. I think it's a legal interpretation, and we will be going back to the judge, as I said earlier. My visa expired. They're going to extend my visa. I have to wait 30. Yes, you do. Have to wait till the 31st to enter the country. And Adama, and can they extend? And yes, we're going to try to do that, Anastasia. We're going to try to get the judge to extend that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. I have another Facebook Live today at 4 o'clock. That'll be in Spanish for my Spanish-speaking clients. And I'll talk about other U.S. immigration law issues. Also, the podcast. Give us a like here on our page. This will be up on our YouTube page. Subscribe to that at Cook Baxter Immigration on YouTube. I'm also the podcast at the Immigration Hour. We're going to put this up on the podcast so that everybody can listen to this there. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Thank you for your focus. Thank you for your thank you. You guys are funny, by the way. Facebook K visas will be later in the week. Jeff Joseph's putting that together, Caroline, so don't worry about that. Thank you, everybody. Have a great week. We're still fighting for you. Have a great day.